all the reasons you should absolutely not move from the city to the country until you watch this. Hi, if you don't know me, I am Deanna. I'm a realtor, podcaster, homesteader, and entrepreneur here in the Kootenays of British Columbia. So as a realtor, I tend to see this a fair bit. So we live in a small town. So of course, people from the city, they might come and they are buying potentially somebody else's dream, like I like to say. It may not be their dream, but it's been romanticized in social media and everywhere else. It's been romanticized of this beautiful, simple life to live in the country. So as a realtor, I do see people selling in 1 to 5 years because they realize that it's not their dream. This life isn't for everybody. And this is why I want to cover that in this video. So there's going to be a lot to cover. There's a lot of reasons why you should absolutely not move to the country. And there's going to be a lot of reasons why you should, but that'll be another video. So I will make sure to link that below. And before you sell absolutely everything in the city, your condo, your belongings, and you're chasing a dream that may not be yours, listen up. Let's dive right into it. First of all, it's not the simple life. I feel like the city is more of a simple life than it is here. You can just close the door, go on vacation. You can just put your thermostat on. You don't have to pile the wood stove with wood to be able to heat up your home. So it is not the simple life. You have to want this, absolutely. And then you're like feeding animals 3 feet of snow. Trust me, not the simple life. First things first, you have to love nature. If you don't, forget it. Forget it. Like, you're gonna have wildlife. Like, they don't understand where your borderline is, and it's your property. There's gonna be wildlife and bugs and snakes and all of that stuff. So know that that's going to come with the territory, of course. So you honestly have to love living within nature. That's the big one for sure. Inconveniences. So of course you are usually further from town. So you're not going to have a Costco close by. You're not going to have the conveniences maybe that you're used to. I mean, we don't even get the Amazon parcels right to our door. We actually have to go drive about 10-15 minutes to go to a corner store, and that's where our Amazon parcels. The Purelator is somewhere else. So it's not really that convenient to even order on Amazon because it does not come to your door and it does not come quickly. So conveniences are not there. There's no Costco close by. There's no DoorDash. There's no even delivery. Like, there's some places that will deliver, but that's going to be expensive. Like, you're going to be maybe half an hour round trip, or we are about half an hour round trip, 15 minutes each way. Maybe you are a little further from town. So of course, if they do deliver, it's going to be expensive. So we usually go pick up our takeout. It just doesn't make sense to get it all delivered. So that's an inconvenience. If you are, depending where you live, are really used to the spa situation and beauty and massages and like all these different things, those are not necessarily readily available. In our little town, again, I'm only 15 minutes away, we have amazing spas and you can get your nails did and your hair done, and there's just really, really great options here, but that's not going to be the case everywhere. For me, it's really important to have access to that, to have the hospital in town if need be, to have amenities like the rec center, to have really, really nice restaurants. They may not be open long, they may not be open every single day, and when the owner needs to take some vacation, I mean, it's going to be closed for a week or two sometimes. So those are some inconveniences. So when you are moving to a smaller town, those things you'll have to adapt. Don't think that you're coming from the city to have the same thing. You'd want change, right? That's why you're moving. So for us, it was a little bit of an adjustment, and that dives into entertainment. Like, there's no concerts that you can just go to close by. There's really cool like community fairs, community events, and so forth, but nothing like the city. So there's no Cirque du Soleil or concerts or hockey games or basketball games or anything like that. So nothing too crazy. You'd have to travel further for that into like some of the bigger cities. So again, inconveniences, no entertainment or anything like that. So it is different. You have to really want this because you're not going to have the same things that you will in the city. And also winter hits different. There's less to do because it gets darker sooner for us. I mean, it'll get dark around 4:30 or something. So you want to get all your chores done prior to that. Plus you have your full-time job, plus, and you're walking maybe in the 3 feet of snow to feed animals if you choose to have animals. Nobody's doing your driveway, so you're going to be out doing the driveway or you're not going anywhere. So winter inconveniences, I think, are difficult. I don't know how many people, like, even if they romanticize and do it in the summer and they love it, they love aspects of the summer, the winter is difficult. And if you have a wood stove, of course, and it's heating your home with a wood stove, you have to trek to get wood, make sure you bring it home, make sure you feed that wood stove or you're not going to have heat. So it does hit different. It's a lot more work and you have less daylight and less to do, I guess, as well, because we love our outdoor activities, but there's less to do. So after your work, it's already dark. And even if you like snowmobiling or winter activities, that's readily available. Of course, you'd have to travel for that, but it is available in the mountains and you're not that far, which is amazing. So I think that's a huge bonus, but you have to want those. You have to really like the winter activities. And again, it gets dark. So you're not going to have all that entertainment. If you get snowed in, you better be prepared with having enough food in the freezer or having enough essentials, because again, you might not be able to get into town. And if you are out of town, like an hour out of town or something like this, it's going to be harder in the winter to get there. So definitely winter inconveniences are hard. And that's when you really realize if this is something you want to do or not. Distance is another one. And we've covered that a little bit, but think about, like, we're only 15 minutes away from town and it's a small town. So anything major would be an hour and a half. So keeping that in mind where you move is going to be important. Let's say you see a chunk of property for a really, really good price. How far is that out of town? Is it a dirt road? Is it a serviced road? Is somebody plowing it, salting it, or whatever they do to make sure it's de-iced? What about your children? How far is that from school if you have kids? Are you homeschooling them? Hospital, let's say you're living with senior parents or you are a senior. Do you need to be close to a hospital? Because distance is a major factor. Vet, what if something goes wrong with your animals? Access to a veterinarian clinic. Those things are major and you are at a distance. You could be an hour away or more potentially, depending where you are living. So consider that if you are considering a homestead. The distance, what type of road is it? Is it serviced? What if there's a fire emergency? How far are you from the nearest fire hall? And that will be a factor in your insurance as well. But we're not even touching that. But distance is important. So look at all of those aspects. Distance to any major amenities and important things that you need. So fire, vet, and of course, any emergency for health. Also airports. How far are you from the nearest airport? For us, it's about an hour and a half. It's comfortable. We don't travel that much, but we do pick up family sometimes from the airport. So it is a 3-hour round trip. So it's definitely a haul. So are you comfortable with that? Or you fly frequently for work and need to be closer to the airport. Groceries, you don't want to miss anything, trust me, or you're driving a long way. So it's really important to be organized, have a grocery list, and don't forget anything. The learning curve is steep. So you have to want to learn something new. If you're comfortable where you are, you don't want to be doing this, because learning to use a chainsaw, snowplow, tractor, just so much, like chopping wood. And it's not only physical, but you also have to learn a lot of new skills. You just have to. You're not going to have the simple life. You're going to have to roll up the sleeves, learn new skills, and get things done. Because no one's here to save you. You're kind of on your own. And if you want to grow a garden, you have to learn about that and about the pests and about the climate and about the area and all these things, what grows together, what grows in the climate, what doesn't, if you want to go organic, what that looks like. There's just a lot to learn about animals. Like, I mean, keeping animals, like what do you give them? What do you don't? Like, is this too much? Is this too little? It's a lot to learn. So the learning curve is absolutely massive, and you will have to want to learn. YouTube has been my best friend. I think in a way, this is why I'm doing this as well. I keep thinking about how much I relied on YouTube in the first few years of learning to be on this homestead and to learn about gardening. And it was massive. Like, I've relied on this platform on YouTube so much. And I thank all the creators, and I'm so grateful. And this is one of the reasons why I want to give back, because I've been there. Anyways, learning curve is absolutely steep. The roads. So again, I know we touched on that a little bit, but this is super important. Is it a dirt road? Is it maintained by the local district? If not, who maintains it? Is it the neighbors? Are they kind of going back and forth and helping each other out in maintaining that to make sure that you can leave in case of an emergency or anything like that? So those things are really important. Of course, get the right vehicle. If you have a mall crawler right now, and you will need a 4x4, assuming you're going to be moving to where there is snow and it's a dirt road and all these, or it's muddy. I mean, those things are really important. So you don't want to get yourself in a position where you are completely stuck or in trouble, and then calling somebody and then the waiting because you are at a distance, of course, probably if you're looking at an acreage property. So all of those things are definitely something that's difficult. It's really difficult and something to consider if you are thinking about the move. And if you are like us and have a long driveway, so plowing it in the winter and keeping it maintained, and that's a lot of work. So the road that goes to your home and to all your major amenities is going to be really important, and the vehicle that you have, of course, as well. So getting a vehicle that's appropriate for where you are moving is going to be key. And also considering animals on the road, tractors, and all these different things. And moving away, you're going to be leaving family, friends that you've built over the years in the city. If you're taking kids out of school, they're friends as well. So moving away is difficult. So that is a really big challenge for a lot of people. And I think once they're moved away and the novelty wears off, they start missing their friends, their grandkids, their kids' friends, and it becomes hard to start over. So definitely moving away is hard. Moving away from your parents, moving away from your children, your grandkids, whatever it might be. So moving away. And let me tell you, they'll visit a lot in the first year, maybe 2, then that's going to slow down. So know that you're not going to see them as frequently. You're going to have friends that you're going to miss, and they will not visit. Not because they don't love you. You're just more of an inconvenience now to travel all the way there. But it is, right? Like if you're further from the airport or it's a long drive there, it's just not as easy to come visit you. So be prepared for that. Be prepared. And speaking of kids, if you have children, being so far away from everything and moving away, so you're not only taking them from their current friends, but socializing your children. So if you're homeschooling them or not, it's socializing them more, having them have and make new friends and putting them in activities. And of course, there's a distance to that. So it all kind of loops in. So it depends how far you are from all these activities and schools and so forth. But socializing your kids and being away from family, it's hard. It's hard. So it is something that you absolutely want to do in order to make this move. And the wardrobe. So you're going to be reconsidering your wardrobe. What you wore in the city is going to be very different. You're going to trade in your heels for gumboots. So not as sexy as you would think. Before we made the move, I made sure I was prepared. So warmer jackets and gumboots, warm boots, winter boots, things that we never considered because we moved from the coast. So I mean, but winters are mild. And then we moved to somewhere where there's 4 seasons. Even though it is a milder climate, we still have the 4 seasons here to consider. So all of these things are something to consider in terms of wardrobe. You might not be prepared for what you need to be prepared for here. And it's just different. If something breaks on your homestead, guess what? It will take time to get anybody there to look at it. So that is something to consider. Part of the learning curve, you might have to hit up YouTube and learn it yourself. And that's what we did. Again, just a lot of YouTube. But it's going to take some time. So know where your shutoffs are. Know how to fix stuff. Know what you can do in case of emergencies. So know the circuit breakers, your panel and everything, your main shutoffs, water, all of those things are going to be super important. And it could take a week to get a plumber in. What are you going to do? So it might be part of the learning curve. Fix it yourself, or at least patch it to a place where you can hold off and get some professionals. It will take time. If you choose to keep animals, we all love animals. And if you choose to keep them, easy to have because you have the space, which is great. But let me tell you, if you like your vacations, that's going to change because it's a lot harder with animals on your homestead. They have to be fed, they got to be watered, they got to be looked after. And we have incredible neighbors. And yeah, you can get home sitters and farm sitters and all that. But at the end of the day, it's a lot harder. You have to plan a lot more. It's a lot harder to just up and go. You can't just lock up your condo and go for 2 weeks, 3 weeks or anything like that. It is harder to vacation for sure, especially if you have animals, even a garden just to maintain everything. It's just harder. It's definitely less convenient to travel. Also, if you have animals, you don't get sick days. You don't get I don't feel like it days or Sunday lounge days. You just don't want to do anything and binge watch a TV show. You gotta be out there no matter how sick, or if it's 3 feet of snow, you're plugging through that to make sure your animals are taken care of. They are your responsibility. So if you're gonna keep animals, it is just a whole different thing. You gotta make sure they're well taken care of every single day, no matter what you're feeling like. And on the topic of animals, I think the most difficult thing is losing animals. In the city, it's hard, of course. Like you have your pet, you have your cat and your dog, and it's hard. But I think if you choose to keep more animals and you're losing chickens to predators and ducks and cats, or it's just hard. It's really, really hard. And the guilt around maybe not getting to the vet on time because you could have done better, or it's just really difficult to make those really difficult decisions and losing the animals that you have on the farm and you love so much and you've taken so much time and energy to take care of. You are everything to everyone. If one of your kids get ill, you have to make sure they are feeling better with whatever remedies you can figure out at home. Patching wounds, you are the vet, you are the nurse, you are absolutely everything to everybody. So you have to be ready for that. You have to be prepared. You are the mechanic, you are the plumber, you are everything to everybody and everything on the homestead. So that is a lot of responsibility to take as well, because you might not be able to get to the vet or to the hospital or to the doctor as readily and quickly as you would be able to in the city. So that is it's hard because, again, you take on a lot of responsibility for your family, for your animals, and for everything on the homestead, from home to equipment to everything else. You need to be extremely well organized, because if you're going to town to pick up groceries and gas and fuel and all these different things, you want to be very, very well organized. If you have 3 things to do when you're in town, add a 4th or a 5th and make sure that's done and dealt with. You don't want to be coming back and forgetting something from the grocery store or the building supply store. So being organized, having lists, super, super important. And just I don't know how else to say it, just being organized is going to be key. You have to be an organized person, or get really organized, or create great systems. For my husband and I, we have an app that we share into on both of our phones that we have grocery lists on, and we can add to it. And so when I'm running around, and I can pick up some stuff between my appointments or anything like that. So being organized, making sure when you do make that trip that you make it really worthwhile. Accepting community. So most people want to move out of town into the country for their solitude. They love the peace, they're quiet. Perfect. Those are many reasons to absolutely do it. But don't forget community. Be the neighbor that you want to have. Be an amazing part of the community and build a community around you, because that's going to be your lifeline. Even if you want to move away because you want to be on your own, you want to be away from people, don't forget about the community. Be a part of the church. Be a part of the community. Volunteer. Be of service. Be a wonderful neighbor. You will rely on those people. You will. Because again, this is a completely different lifestyle. You will absolutely rely on these people. And there's a good chance that that community knows someone else. You want to be good to people here, because people know people. So if you're not a good neighbor, everybody will know that. If you're at a point where you need help, you're going to be on your own. So solitude is beautiful. Peace and quiet is beautiful, but don't forget your community. Get involved, volunteer, be a part of something greater. Support your community as well. Buy the local meats, go to the farmers market, support local. That's going to be, I think, the key. Like, why wouldn't you? It benefits you in so many ways, plus you're supporting your community. You will not be able to find certain things online, like the hotspots or certain things that are must known about the area. What the locals know about Crescent, for example, that you would probably not know if you just moved here, and you have to learn from the locals, is in the spring, when you're ready to put your harvest into the ground and your warm, loving crops, you do not put them in until this specific X, this snowy X in the mountain, is completely gone. So if the X in the mountain is still there, you do not put your tomatoes into the garden, because there's a chance of frost. But if the X is gone off the mountain, then you can. So it's just really cool, but only the locals will know that. Plus local hotspots and hiking areas and whatever it might be. So definitely with your community, get with the locals and make some friends. I mean, life is better with people and something you can share with someone. Have a backup plan. So backup generators, have a backup plan. If the power goes out, then what? If you're stuck in like 4 feet of snow or something ridiculous, depending where you are, and you can't dig yourself out, do you have enough food? If the power goes out, generators, if your freezers don't have power, what's going to happen with all your food? So definitely having a backup plan, maybe canning as well, preserving food in different ways to make sure that you are okay for however long you don't have power for. So having a wood stove is probably a really good idea as well, because then if you don't have power to heat your place, at least you have wood. Knowing where your emergency shutoffs are and all of those things. So in case of emergencies, super important. So have a backup plan and be ready. Freedom. So I would say it's not the freedom that people would think it would be. So you don't have the freedom to do whatever you want on your property. There are bylaws and regulations and rules. There is water licenses. There is so many factors that come into play. So people might think that they have this freedom to do whatever they want because it's their land. They don't. Permits, zoning, licensing, and so much more. So you still have to abide by the governing bodies and be a responsible citizen. So it doesn't necessarily mean freedom is freedom. And this is a crazy one because everything takes 5 times longer than you actually think it would be. So you budget to do a project, it's going to take 5 times longer. Probably more expensive too. So that is something to consider. Just know that it's never going to be as planned. So let's talk about financially. This is a doozy and it's going to be different for everybody. Jobs are very different. So there might be a lack of jobs or lack of good paying jobs unless you work online or you are maybe in the trades and there's a demand in the area. That would be really, really great. But jobs are really tougher to come by and less of in these areas. They might be seasonally more so available rather than just have jobs like all year round. So maybe you're doing hay or something like that. So a lot of it might be seasonal. So that is something to consider. So financially, it's not cheap. And maybe it's because I live in British Columbia. I don't know. But it's not cheap. So when you think that you're going to be saving a huge amount of money by moving to the country, maybe real estate might be cheaper because you could get more for less, but you're still paying property taxes. You're still paying higher utilities potentially. Our hydro bill is a little bit more than in the city, but of course we use the wood stove and then you have to pay for wood. So unless you harvest it yourself, so you're actually putting either money or time in. I don't find it cheaper. And to build a garden, to build chicken coop, to feed your chickens, to feed the animals, to feed the livestock, I don't feel that it's something that you're going to save a lot of money doing. Unless you are quite literally doing everything on your own and putting that time in instead of potentially working. But there's only so much time that we have, and with work and allocating all that, I just don't think it's that much cheaper. I really don't. It has to be something you really want to do, because you're not going to be moving here and saving money or creating a lot of wealth on your homestead or living in the country by doing it. You just won't. So you have to be financially stable. You have to be financially there, honestly, before making this move. And I know a lot of people online talk about how cheap it is to live off grid and all these things, and it might be, but is that going to be for everybody? Is that going to be where you want to live in maybe a cool climate where the taxes are really cheap, or in an area where the bugs are the size of dinosaurs? Or I don't know. I think that there's always a trade-off. There's always a trade-off for money and time and conveniences of some sort, and luxuries, I guess, a little bit. Like weather is a luxury for me. I love living where I am because we do have the 4 seasons, but they're mild. It's something that will be a personal preference for people, because it's not going to be for everybody in many, many ways. So you have to consider that. So when we talked about nature, that's going to hit different in very different areas. So research that, if that you're going to be okay with that. I would not be okay in a climate with, we're in Celsius here, like 40 below. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't be comfortable. I wouldn't be happy. Or black flies, or these major insects. I can deal with some mosquitoes and bugs and everything. That's fine. But up north, like in BC, maybe not for me. I know that some people do really well there, but it might be different financially. But that wouldn't be for me. I wanted to be in a place where I'm comfortable, and even though it's not easy, it's comfortable, and there are some luxuries in that sense for me. How old are you, and how long you're going to be doing this for? My retirement plan to be in the country on a homestead, fantastic, fantastic. But in your 70s, will you be chopping wood? Or will you be buying it? Will you be wanting to do the things that you're capable of in your 40s, 50s, and 60s in your 70s and 80s? You're not going to be physically able to. So financially, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you, plus the inconveniences, plus everything else. So those things are really, really important, because it's going to be expensive. You're going to have people coming in to stack your wood, to bring in, and this is just for heating, not to mention everything else, plowing and all these different things. Are you physically able to do that in the next 20, 30 years? Is that where you want to be? And speaking of which, what's your exit strategy? So that's the other thing. So if you're selling a rural property that's maybe not ideal, because of the road conditions, the distance, and all these different things. And financially, you didn't want to maybe put in the investment into the property. What is your exit strategy? What is the strategy to sell that place? How long will that take? Will you recoup your money? So those things are also to consider. What is that exit strategy? Because if you don't have one, it's a good one to start thinking about. Are you going to be there for the rest of your life? And what does that look like financially? So financially, an exit strategy is going to be really important because they go hand in hand. That is a really long list of absolutely horrendous things and why you should absolutely not move from the city to the country. So I would advise you, if you wanted to get a feel for it, rent a cabin somewhere in the middle of nowhere, get a feel for how quiet it is, the nature, spend some time with the family, maybe if they see what they think. Take the whole family. It's not just a 5-day camping trip. Like this, just experience it for like 2 weeks, maybe longer if you can. See if this is something that's going to be for you. Maybe even do some farm sitting for someone. That's a brilliant idea. Farm sit for someone for like 2 weeks. Let them go on vacation and see how you like it before you making this big move, or sell everything in the city in order to move to the country. Get some experience before you do that. Experience the wildlife and the bugs, and maybe go in the winter. Go like worst case scenario. Why not? But I hope that this gave you a lot of insights, and I'm talking about this from my personal experience. And of course, for us, we love this. Like, we love being here. We love this so much. We love all the challenges, but it's not going to be for everybody. So consider this your warning. And of course, there are so many amazing and wonderful reasons to do this. So the next video, check it out, because I talk about the incredible things and the reasons why you should absolutely take the plunge and move to the country.